Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. The Outlook, serving the residents of East Multnomah County for more than 100 years. The region's #1 source for information, The Outlook provides readers with intensely local coverage of the issues and people that impact our lives and community. The Mountain Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, advocating on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. A very special thanks to all our sponsors who help make our programming possible.
Hello, I'm Monica Weitzel, the host of Community Hotline. We're here every week to share stories about the local nonprofits working hard to make life better for all of us. Tonight, you'll get to meet the new director of the Gresham Historical Society. Learning about our past helps us plan for our future, and sometimes is just plain fascinating. Find out what's new and what's changing at this gem of an organization located in downtown Gresham. Then we'll talk with Quest Integrative Health. Quest is Oregon's first drug and alcohol-free housing for the LGBTQ+ community. Two completely different nonprofits, each making our world a better place. You can see them both on Community Hotline, coming up next. Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to start out tonight talking with Quest Center for Integrative Health. And here to talk about the center, we have David Eisen, the Executive Director. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And Lucia Marks, you are a licensed clinical psychologist, the co-founder of the center, and a clinical supervisor. That's a lot of stuff to do. So I'm really glad you're here. Lucia, let me just start with you for a minute. Since you founded this or co-founded this organization, why did you? What was the impetus behind it, and what is the mission?
It was very important to have an organization that treated people who were marginalized and treated people in an integrative approach. We started 30 years ago. And
30 years this year, right? I mean,
30 years this year,
but yeah.
in the time of AIDS. And so we started at that time as an organization serving people with AIDS. So community became a very, very important aspect of our work. And having a program that really would allow for people to get the treatment that they needed, where every person would be treated as the special human being that each person is, and where we would build a sense again of being together and making whatever life there was be meaningful. Right. From that, we knew over time, and as there were more treatments, the importance of adding more programs that really address the issues that people have in general. And so we have done that. With 30 years, we're now a wellness center, and we still treat all people who come. So we treat people from every socioeconomic group and every race, creed, whatever. You know, we want to be a very open organization.
Yeah. Open and inclusive, and still part of the community.
And with people learning to work together, different practitioners too, so that we are truly integrated in the work that we do.
That's wonderful, and that is something I'm sure that's very much needed. I see that happening a lot more. It sounds like you were kind of at the forefront of that as far as like a holistic approach to healthcare, where you recognize that it's not just one thing you're treating, it's the whole person, and that involves a lot more than just giving them medicine, right? So Dr. Eisen, is it Dr. Eisen? You're also a doctor of Chinese medicine, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your role as the executive director. And how long have you been there?
I'm a youngster there. I've been there going on 16 years. So I've watched Quest grow from a very important but relatively small group of people to growing it today where we're in 3 counties. We have almost 70 employees. We see over 3,000 folks a year, and have developed programs that are recognized nationally and still hold the values that Lucia and the group of people that helped found Quest 30 years ago, we hold those values as core thematic beliefs to building whatever we build.
It sounds like that's really the foundation for your success. Mm-hmm. So that's important. I like that you have grown and yet keep that, where you came from. You haven't forgotten where you came from and what was important to your clients.
So we get, if I may, asked regularly, several times a month, can you do this program in Burns? Can you do this program in Jackson County? How big can you, how they use the word scale, how can we scale this? Mm-hmm. And we made a decision that we're as big as we want to get. We can help communities, other organizations, show them how we do what we do.
You can be a model for them, right?
We can, and we can consult with them, and we are starting to do that more and more. And we are open to helping other community organizations meet the needs of their communities in the way that their communities need to be met.
That sounds sensible to me. MetroEast was asked to provide a video for you, which we did. That it was for your 30-year benefit
anniversary party soiree fundraiser.
That was in October, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
How'd that go, by the way?
Oh, it was a fabulous success. We had a great turnout. We raised a nice amount of money. Okay. We had a good time. We made new friends.
That's perfect.
Yes.
What more can you ask for, right? But I think we have a snippet from the video, a little bit of that we'd like to show. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of it talks with some of the people some of your clients, and kind of gives a face to some of the people
from our community.
People from your community. Community is going to be a big word in this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So should we go ahead and show that now?
Let's do that.
Let's roll it.
When I first came to Portland last December, I was just in a really hard place, just very dark and isolated and not knowing what to do or how to move forward. I was alone, I was alone.
Then we were on the verge of homelessness or homeless a few times, and just being low income, just addiction issues, single parent, trauma. It's just a lot.
I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I contracted HIV, and that's where I really started to just explore the world of illicit drugs. I don't know if I really want to stay around for this, and really contemplated ending it.
When I was a child, I was a member of the LDS church and realized that I was gay. If the church didn't accept me, how's the gay community going to accept me? And so when the drugs came along, I didn't care if I fit in. That's what I've been doing the last 5.5 months, is working on recovery. And it was done. I was done.
Quest was like a lifeline. Suddenly I had things that I could do, ways that I felt like I could help myself to keep moving forward. It's just like this world opened up.
It's like, have you heard of Quest? Quest has yoga and acupuncture. I'm like, what's Quest? What? No way.
I mean, it was all kind of surprising, all the things that were available.
they hook you. You go in for one thing and then you hear, oh, they do this, they do this too.
Opening up to the uniqueness of each individual person and how it's going to look exactly your own way every time. And the more space there is for that, the more potential there is for the growth and the healing.
They really want you to experience life and not just go into treatment.
I love that sense of community that's being built. That's very new to me, where like I can walk in and I like have people that know me, that are smiling to see me, and I want to be with. And
listening to her talk, it chokes me up every time. It really does. It feels like a family there. I mean, that's the impression I get, is that everybody cares about each other, and that's a really big deal. How do you feel about it? Do you get that feeling?
Caring about each other and becoming empowered in the process, because to have the value of living a healthy life and a life with meaning is something that when you're doing it, we really do so much better when we have others who share in that same value.
Yes.
And so in our community, there is a very strong value of caring, of health, so that it's not just seeing a therapist, it's learning about changing patterns. Mm-hmm. So we do have like a community nutrition night that 30 to 40 people come to. We're learning to cook, but having good, healthy food in community.
Yeah. And sharing food is always, a wonderful thing anyway. But sharing healthy food and maybe learning to make it too, and that's.
And moving through time with the different areas that especially need attention, I believe that our WISH program certainly very much has that foundation of learning to cook and learning to make a lot of changes in how you live, which feels like an important program of ours too.
So you have several different programs.
Yes.
Obviously you do a lot of different things. Tell me about the WISH program.
So the WISH program is our chronic pain non-opioid program. It includes acupuncture and meditation and yoga and nutrition and peer support and mental health services if you need it, and substance abuse disorder services if you need it. It is done, we get people come in for 6 months. And they come in and they learn how to start to manage their own pain and not be dependent upon drugs and or other people outside of themselves. Mm-hmm. Things are done in a group. Almost everything we do at Quest in program is in group. Groups form in that moment a functional community. People with chronic illness usually isolate. The culture says, you go over there. Okay, I'll go over there.
Yeah.
Stigma is attached to isolation. Bringing people out of isolation, helping them get through stigmatizing themselves has to happen within a community. There's that word again.
Yes.
And being able to use evidence-based interventions like acupuncture, like yoga, to help people see that there is a way to manage your pain, see that there is a way to manage your depression in a way that is healthy, in a way that is proactive, and it is a way that you can internally do it for yourself.
Yeah, you're kind of taking back your life and instead of letting it control you, you have a little more control over it. And when you talk about isolation, it seems to me like that's something that's a killer of people.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
It's soul-sucking.
Yeah. I mean, what's worse than being alone and not thinking anybody cares? And I mean, that's a very hard thing for people to go through. I get that. Some of the other things that I have read that you're doing, you have the WISH program, FSR, that's the Finding and Sustaining Recovery. So that's your drug and alcohol addiction recovery program.
It's an outpatient program. It is based in recovery. The goal is to get drug-free.
Okay.
And we meet people where they're at. If they're still using, we see, okay, you might be using, you need this, but we want to get you to understand that a life without drugs is possible, it can be meaningful, and it can be miraculous. And we do that in the same way we do other things, in groups, and we use acupuncture, yoga, nutrition, key elements to what a person needs to build their life to a different place. Exercise, diet, spirituality, physical health.
And I think most treatment programs use some of those, but they certainly don't use all of them.
No, we are unique.
Yeah, you are. We don't have a lot of time left, so I do want to hear about the new house that you have, the Quest House. Is that what it's called?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
We came up with lots of names. And
just keep it simple, huh?
yeah, some of them were not so good. It is essential that people who are not at a place to be able to take care of themselves, and because of their addiction, need a safe and secure place to live. And they need a safe and secure and drug-free place to live. And if there is to be any chance for them to get clean and sober and stay clean and sober, they need a physical foundation for that. And all of the treatment and all the acupuncture in the world isn't going to get somebody clean if they don't have a physical structure to call home and a community, there it is again, a community of people that they feel connected to.
And safe.
We partner with another not-for-profit, Bridges to Change. You might want to think about having them
they're
on.
on my list because they just have a,
And Multnomah County, as the funder, we 5 months ago, we opened up the first LGBTQ plus transitional alcohol and drug-free facility in the state of Oregon.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
And it is a wonderful community of people. Actually, the folks who are living there mostly come to our nutrition night on Thursdays and really are just a wonderful, warm, friendly, caring folks, and we all do dishes and clean up together.
And you're a community together.
Yeah.
I have to end it on that note, but unless you have one more thing you want to say to wrap it up, because we're out of time. So go ahead and close it up for us.
So go to our website.
There you go.
Quest Center.
Yeah, we'll have it on the screen.
Please, because it just flew out my mind. And it's going to be, our new website will be up and running by the end of next week.
Oh, wonderful.
Check out the services. We are there if people are needing help.
Wonderful.
And I would say the empowerment of people. We want people to be able to have wellness and move into their lives, not come for a treatment, but to really have healthy lives. And we do have treatment. People can come for mental health and for medical services and all different services that relate to wellness besides our special programs.
Well, I encourage people to check it out on the website, find out more about it, and thank you very much for coming on and for the wonderful work you do.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. I hope you've learned something new and have learned about a really wonderful program going on in this town and others. Do stick around. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. The Outlook, serving the residents of East Multnomah County for more than 100 years. The region's #1 source for information, The Outlook provides readers with intensely local coverage of the issues and people that impact our lives and community. The Mountain Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, advocating on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. A very special thanks to all our sponsors who help make our programming possible.
Every week on Community Hotline, we highlight the great work of local nonprofits in our area. And now you can also see us on our live Facebook feed, 7 p.m. every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. So tune in and find out what's going on in your community.
It is so important for me to have the right to be able to speak what I want to speak and talk about what I want to talk about.
If you start shutting this person up and shutting that person up and shutting this person up, that's not America.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.
Hi, and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Now I have the pleasure of introducing you to the brand new director of the Gresham Historical Society and Museum. Thanks for being here. This is Greta Smith-Wisniewski.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So you have been the executive director there for what, a couple months?
Yeah, basically,
kind of.
Yeah, I spent the first 2 weeks training with the outgoing museum director, Evan Smiley, which is fantastic. And then I took over from her, worked for a couple of weeks, and then I had a vacation that I had planned for months, and so I left for a week, then I came back, so now
it's still really new.
Yeah.
It seems like every time I've gotten a new job, I have a vacation plan.
Right.
And luckily they let you go, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
So where did you come from?
I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a big change. Have you spent time here before?
Well, so I grew up in Tulsa. I lived there until I was 19, and then I moved to San Diego. I lived there until I was 29, and then I moved to Portland.
Okay, so you've been here, 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, have you been here long enough to really get a feel for what the Gresham community is like, or what even the museum and the historical society? I mean, it's such a short time. You probably don't have, a really good feel for it.
Well, I would say I've worked in other historical organizations and nonprofits before, probably going on about 5 years.
Okay. What was your background, or what is your background?
Well, I started at PCC. And then I went straight to Portland State University. I got my bachelor's in history, and then I got a fellowship, the Rose Tucker Fellowship, which enabled me to go get my graduate degree. I got a master's in public history, also from Portland State University.
Good.
And while I was in my undergrad, I did some internships, some public programming internships at Oregon Historical Society.
Oh yeah.
And then during graduate school, I worked at Oregon Historical Society for the Oregon Historical Quarterly, doing fact-checking and image research.
Oh, really?
And then I also did other internships under Eliza Canty Jones, who's community engagement and editor for the Oregon Historical Quarterly there. And then I also worked with Vanport Mosaic while I was in graduate school, doing oral history for them, and
they're coming up on their 50th year.
Yeah, and helping do the annual festival, and I was the education and outreach director there.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Nice. I may have to talk to you more. We're going to be doing some interviews about that later this year. So yeah.
Yeah, well, they're a great organization.
Yeah,
I love them.
That'll be good. Well, so now that you're in Gresham, and you have that cute little
It's
cute little
adorable.
building,
Yeah.
and I think, and we may get a picture of it up here later. The Gresham Museum is kind of iconic in this area. Everybody knows it. You know, you go down the Main Street. I mean, Main Street's cute enough as it is, but everybody knows where the museum, because it's a really neat looking building, and it's I don't know, it's just kind of warm and welcoming, and so I hope you'll find it that way as you're
I really
here.
have. One thing I've been struck by there is the community ownership and pride and support of the
Good.
Gresham Historical Society in museum. From even just for the building in and of itself.
Yeah.
The building is an artifact,
It
as
is.
it was historic Carnegie Library.
Right.
And people have a lot of memories of just spending time in the library. It's great to hear them talk about it when they come in. And then also just the fact that the museum, I think you had asked something earlier about what I've kind of, impressions I've gotten about Gresham. And you're right, I haven't been here very long. I don't live in Gresham. I live in North Portland. But what I've really been struck by is the sense of community here and how this museum was grassroots founded.
There's some
It was renovated and put on the National Register of Historic Places, all by community-led effort.
Yes,
So that's something that I think is really special and important to maintain.
Yeah, and it's been well supported, I know, and people care about it. So that's kind of a Tudor style. Is that what you call that? A Tudor style building, I think.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it was one of the Carnegie libraries. I know they did a couple thousand of those, maybe from in the late 1800s to the 20s, I think, and you know, they're not all still there. There are a lot of them that are, but
right. And I've heard it's kind of an unusual style for a Gresham. I keep saying Gresham, a Carnegie Library.
Yeah. Well, that's a little unusual for Gresham as well, actually, which is probably why it stands out. So you, as a new director here, do you have certain goals that are just kind of yours alone that you want to accomplish while you're here, as a, you know, just to let people know what it's all about, or what is it that's important to you as a director of the museum and the society?
To say while I'm here.
What do you hope to accomplish in your job?
Well, first of all, I think what I want to say while I'm here is that going off of what I was talking about earlier about it being a really community-founded, led, and supported place, I want people to know that the Gresham Historical Society Museum is free. It's open to the public. We hope people come in. We very much rely on volunteer support and our memberships.
So it's free to get in there, but you do have memberships that help support the museum? Okay.
Memberships are really crucial to helping support the mission of the museum, which is to collect, preserve, and share the history of the Gresham area with the public. So I think beyond that, and I'm also still wrapping my head around the museum and what it is, and doing a lot of listening. Because
that's a good thing to start out doing.
I don't think that it's as somebody who, as I said, I'm not from here, I don't live in Gresham, and I don't want to come in and say, this is what you need.
Yeah.
You know, I want to listen.
That's probably a smart way to do it.
Yeah. But I do have an oral history background, and I do think that oral history is a really fantastic way to get stories of people that you don't often see represented in the historic narrative to be included and represented in the museum. And so that's something that I'm hoping to do, is to do oral histories with people.
So how would that work?
Well, I think it would start with community partnerships and outreach, which is something that I'm slowly building on. I honestly haven't had a whole lot of time yet to do a lot of outreach, because I've been doing a lot of sort of planning and grant writing, and we have two grants right now that I've taken over from the former museum director. One's a collection grant and the other's a preservation grant. And the collections grant is to basically get our collection in order. That's really the bones of our museum. So we're working on assessing it, which means that we're saying, what do we have? What's in here, and why do we need it? Does it fulfill our mission?
Right, just kind of looking at all aspects of it.
Are these objects relevant to Gresham?
Do we need to flesh it out more? Do we need to get rid of some of it?
Right, and then making our collection space a safer space for our collection. And then the preservation grant is because we got some work done on the building. We had a crack in our foundation that through the grant, and that grant, I think, through that grant and volunteer efforts and community partnerships, like with Sudu Island.
Oh yeah,
we were able to fix that, and it's still in progress. But so really, I've been continuing on in the great work that Evan started, and then also seeing kind of some gaps where I think that we could be filling in.
Well, I mean, so the oral history isn't something that's. Is that something that exists at the Gresham Museum now?
Yeah, we do have oral histories at the Gresham Historical Society.
So is that
in
people
the archive.
just audio taping stories?
These are the ones that we have in the collection presently. They were cassette tapes, and they're now MP3 files.
Okay.
And what I would like to do is do video recorded oral histories.
We need to talk.
Yes, please talk.
Yeah, there could be a partnership right there.
I would love that.
Okay, we'll talk about that. So that sounds really exciting. I think that's a really good idea, and because that's something that, especially younger people coming up, really will grab onto that more quickly maybe than looking at old things. You know what I mean?
Well,
get them in there how you
multiple
can.
avenues for engagement, right?
Yes.
Not everybody's just going to want to read a panel on a wall. Sometimes,
and sometimes that's exactly what they want.
Exactly.
You also have a research center there, a research room, and I have not been in that, so tell me about that.
The research room is typically by appointment only, and yeah, you can look on our website. I believe that it's greshamhistorical.org.
And we'll have that up on the
screen.
There's a link
on there that says research room, and you can schedule a research appointment through there. Okay. You can also call the museum. You can come in and fill out a research request form. If it's a quick question and I'm not busy, because I'm the one who
you're the person that's going to answer all the questions, aren't you?
I'm going to try.
Or you'll find out and get back to them, right? Yeah. So, because I've heard people talking about that before, that it was really a great resource for, just people that were interested in their own history, or people that were, students that needed to get some information for a project they were working on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we get a lot of teachers that reach out and say, I'm working on a lesson with my students about the history of X, Y, or Z. Can we come in and see what you have? And yeah.
And Gresham's history is interesting. I mean, it used to be all this farmland, and there was so many, the Japanese here that were, had their farms, and there were, there was a lot of different flavor than I think it has now. Although there's some of that still here, but it's because it's growing. It's growing a lot, but
absolutely.
it is a good community. So tell me. You obviously have a passion for oral history. This is a small museum. Is that something that appeals to you, having a small museum like that, as opposed to, say, the Oregon Historical Society, which is really big?
Well, one thing that I love about small museums is that they also tell the story of place very specifically, and people, and also the institution themselves. So, for example, like I was talking about earlier with the Gresham Historical Society, it being community founded and really grassroots, and you have things in the collection that tell a story of the people that started the institution, and I think that that's so fascinating. I do have a dream of doing an exhibit about that.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, I think it would be really, really fascinating, and just also to pay homage to those people who did that work.
Yeah, they probably had no idea that years later people would be enjoying that still. I mean, because it's how long has it been there? I can't remember how long.
The Gresham Historical Society,
Yeah.
well, it started in 1976. I believe they purchased the building in 1990.
Okay.
I think it was renovated in 1996, but I could have that date wrong.
But, you know, it's not 50 years yet, but it's getting there, you know, from when it started, so that's a good thing. So you're going to do your listening, you're going to, you know, find out more. You mentioned something about volunteers. What kind of things would volunteers do there?
Oh boy, we have wonderful volunteers. We can always use more. We have volunteers that are docents. They hold it down in the front of the house. They tell people, because they're also community stakeholders. They know about Gresham area history, and so they can tell people if people have questions about things in the museum. They're really the front line.
Right, they're the ones, and they probably know where to get the answers if they don't know them,
Yeah,
right?
if they don't, they come and talk to me. So that's one thing. And we also really need volunteers with computer skills. To help with research requests, to help with the collections project, and also to help with administrative tasks.
Yeah. Well, if somebody's looking for, you know, a volunteer position, and you know, maybe you can just give it a few hours a week or something, you'd take that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the way that people can find out information about that is, again, on our website. We have a link to, I think it's under support, and there's a form on there. Also, they can call or come into the museum. And I'd be happy to talk to them. I'm probably going to be the one to answer the phone.
Okay, so, good. Yeah. Well, we are out of time, but I really appreciate you coming on, Greta, and I can feel your passion for your job and for history, and so I'm really glad you're in this position.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. So do check it out. If you have not been to the Gresham Historical Society and the museum, do check it out, because it really is a gem. And say hi to Greta while you're there. And don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. The Outlook, serving the residents of East Multnomah County for more than 100 years. The region's #1 source for information, The Outlook provides readers with intensely local coverage of the issues and people that impact our lives and community. The Mountain Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, advocating on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. A very special thanks to all our sponsors who help make our programming possible. MetroEast plays a vital role in strengthening community life by helping nonprofit organizations share their story. One major opportunity we offer is Community Hotline, our weekly talk show that highlights the stories of our community's nonprofit organizations.
We've had a lot of people call Ride Connection because they've seen us on Community Hotline.
We can reach people that I've never thought about reaching out to.
We can get that word out to a broad audience quickly.
The list of causes and nonprofits that we support is really incredible.
Do you know a nonprofit you'd like to see on Community Hotline? We'd love to have them on the show. Give us a call. and welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Now we're going to have a short interview here today with a gentleman who is the trustee and the Publication and Videography Chair for the Portland Highland Games Association, and also a MetroEast volunteer. Good to have you here, Ross McKay.
Hi, nice to be here, Monica.
Well, you know, you do a lot of things, and
just a few.
Yeah, and you look rather dashing, I must say.
Oh, thank you.
Know, I see you here in your kilt, so you represent the Highland Games well, pretty much year round, don't you?
All year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So tell me about it. When I first started working in Gresham, that was one of the first events that I heard about was the Portland Highland Games, and it was. And I still haven't been able to go because every year I have work duties on that same weekend, but. It's on my bucket list to go.
We'll do it. It's always the third Saturday of July every year, and it's not unique. It's all over the world, but we have one of the best games in the Western United States, at least 11 right? Western. We get bands from British Columbia, as far as Utah. They come and compete here in Portland. Wow. On the national competition.
Yeah. I talked to a couple of people who went there this year, and they were who had never been, and were just amazed. They said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is going on right in our area," and they'd never been. People are kind of blown away when they go, aren't they?
Yes, they are. We keep growing each year, and it's something that is part of Gresham, part of Portland. Mm-hmm. It's not a unique once in a while thing. It is part of us.
Yeah.
And
how long has it been going on here?
I believe this will be the 68th.
Whoa, that is a long time.
Don't kill me if I'm wrong. But I believe it's the 68th.
So tell me what goes on. Tell me about a typical Highland Games Day.
Oh, well.
I mean, I know there's a lot of build up to it, a lot of work that goes into it.
Well, there's also a lot there. It starts earlier in the day, but the big announcement, the big starting is at noon.
Okay.
But from 9 o'clock on, there's smaller things leading up to it.
Is it like going to a track meet where there's like the high jump over here and the long jump here and the?
Oh, it's worse. It's at the community college. Mm-hmm. It takes up the upper field and the main lower field and the side.
Oh wow.
And the gym.
So it's more like the Olympics in a smaller, much smaller
version, sense. Yes. But yes, you have the athletics for the most part are in the upper field.
Okay.
And you have all the old Scottish games, athletic game competitions. Going. And
with funny names that I wouldn't even know what they were.
You would think of it throwing a bale of hay with a pitchfork.
Yeah, I do that.
You know, that kind of thing. You know,
fun.
But yeah, they're fun. They're fun games. The younger people get to throw a smaller caber.
Wow.
And then.
So how old are the youngest competitors? And how old do they go?
Ooh, you're getting me. I've seen them pretty small. I would say under 12, I believe, is one category. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And is there a limit on the other end?
No. If you can do it,
go for it.
Go for it. We also have dance. There are dance competitions all day long on one stage on the main field. Then there are the marching bands, there are the bagpipes, the drummers.
I really didn't know that you had all that too.
Fiddle competition.
What's your favorite part? When it's over?
The mass bands, the battle of the bands at the end. It's a toss-up between that and the professional caber toss.
That sounds wonderful. Okay, so this is just a quickie interview that we have today. You're going to be coming back on the show later.
Sure.
But tell me what we need to know in like a minute about the Highland Games.
Come hungry.
Third Saturday in July.
Third Saturday in July.
At Mount Hood Community College.
Mount Hood Community College.
Okay.
Come thirsty, come hungry, and have a good day.
Come ready for fun, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, Ross, we will be watching for some of this on our channels, right?
Okay. Yes.
We
the Metro Media is our videography sponsor, partner.
Yes.
And we do all of our media through you.
That's great. So we'll watch for that on the channel to give people a really good flavor.
And for those people out there, just so you know, the videos that we did through you last year were picked up by commercial media and shown all over the Portland area.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Russ. Thank you for that. Thank you for all you do for the Portland Highland Games, and I will see you around the studios.
All right, sounds great.
Thanks
Thank you
very much. Thanks for watching that little segment, and we'll be right back with one more. Don't go away.
Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. The Outlook, serving the residents of East Multnomah County for more than 100 years. The region's #1 source for information, The Outlook provides readers with intensely local coverage of the issues and people that impact our lives and community. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, advocating on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. A very special thanks to all our sponsors who help make our programming possible.
Hi, welcome back to Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Now we have another quick interview with a great organization. It's the Sandy Actors Theater, and here to represent the Sandy Actors Theater we have Anita Sorrell. Great to have you here.
Oh, great to be here.
Thank you. Now you're an actor, you're a director, and a board member.
I am.
So you kind of do it all, don't you?
Yes.
And you've been there, what, about 6 years?
6 years.
Yeah, great. So what brought you to Sandy Actors Theater?
Well, I'll go very quickly because I have less time. We were looking for a place to move. And we were touring around, and we drove up through Sandy, and we loved the streets and the outlook. We stopped in a bakery, and she said, well, there's a theater right up there. I looked across the road, up the hill. There was the theater, so I walked in. They were having auditions.
Oh, you're kidding me.
So I met everybody, and I thought, what a wonderful place when I move here.
Wow, and you have a background in theater, I take it. Yes, yes. That is wonderful. So tell me a little bit about Sandy Actors Theater.
Well, they've been in existence since '79.
That's a long time.
And that's a long time. And they started in one building and moved around. Now they have their own, we have our own space.
And this is a community theater.
It's a community theater, totally nonprofit.
Right.
Everyone who builds a set or works there is volunteer. And some work a lot of hours.
I'm sure.
But we have always worked with the community. We've done Reader's Theater at the library with the library.
I've been to those.
We've toured up to Welsh's with a show to perform in their library. We've always sponsored Halloween with them and done some of the artwork and performance for Halloween. The food pantry. But now we're trying to reach out because Sandy's small. and we want to get more people involved. So with your help, like we've done promos now of the theater and our season that you'll have to air. And I'm in the process of contacting the publishing companies for all the shows we're doing, asking if we can air on MetroEast.
I really
the
want
shows.
that. I really
and the
want
letters
that.
are out there. I'm waiting for answers.
I hope they'll give us the okay on
I
that.
hope they do.
Yeah.
We're emphasizing that it's for the community and it's going to reach people who might never have been to the theater.
Right.
And
It
they'll
might
see,
spark some interest in somebody that never knew they were interested.
exactly, and they'll see a live performance.
Yeah, and live performances are so rich. They're so fun.
Well, they're unique. They're different every single time.
Yes.
And people don't realize, like you go to a live football game and you get caught up with the energy. You go to live theater and the audience is a part of it.
Yes, yes.
They're
a lot of times you
part of
actually
that.
incorporate them into the story.
Exactly.
So how many productions do you do during a year?
We do 5 a season. We just closed It's a Wonderful Life, the radio show, with sold-out houses every night, and we have not had that in a long time.
Nice.
And they loved it. And we filmed that, and that's one of the letters that's out there saying, may we bring it. Audience participation. And some of the companies around town bought commercials.
Oh,
so
really?
as a radio show says, and now a word from our sponsor.
And you actually have an actual business in the area.
And some of the other companies, and that was wonderful.
That's fun. Yeah, and that builds community, right? So what do you have coming up?
We have a play called Making God Laugh, a comedy
that sounds
following a family during 4 decades.
Oh, wow.
And then we have Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike, which was a Broadway one about 6 or 7 Tonys and a Pulitzer, I think.
Wow.
Directed by Tobias Anderson.
Oh, yes, I know Tobias.
Yes. And you said you knew Tim Park.
I do.
He's in A Wonderful Life, so you'll see him work.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. That's great. Yeah, 2 really good actors.
But we're trying now, also with your help. My special thing is a project, which I want to get a grant for, to bring a friend from New York who has an original musical that we would mount, and it would be open to any student in the county.
Oh, wow.
And I want a grant to...
Is that Multnomah County still
no,
there?
Clackamas County.
It's Clackamas County, okay. Yeah, it's right on the border there.
But we're trying desperately to reach out to more people who don't.
Well, and reaching out to students is great because a lot of kids have never ever seen live
and we have
theater.
a wonderful summer program for students. But I want to do this show where any kid in the county, if we can work it out, where maybe the Board of Ed helps with some busing.
Yeah. What a great field trip for a class to come and to see that. Yeah, that would be really special, and it'd probably be something kids would never forget. You know.
I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that idea. Well, I hope that we can help and get the word out and help make that happen, and that we can have your productions on our channels.
Oh, I do too.
And barring that, you can go out to Sandy and you can watch a show. When does
I
the
just
next one
happen to
start?
have a schedule there. You can zoom in on the schedule.
No,
they can't do that probably.
Well, they probably can if you can.
I'll just hold it here in
case. Actually, hold it there. Yeah, that camera right there. Just hold it there for a minute.
Yeah,
so we have. The next one will be the Making God Laugh, which I think sounds like fun.
And then I'm not sure if that. I think it runs through January. Then the next one runs runs in March.
Okay. And so how long is your season? From when to when?
We go until the middle of June.
Middle of June, okay.
September to June.
You get a little time off. Yeah. Not very much though. Okay. No. Yeah. Good. Well, I am really glad that you're in the area and that you're doing what you're doing, and it sounds not only fun, but it sounds like it's good for the community, and that's what I like to hear.
We've yet to have someone who doesn't get involved. They don't grow from it. They meet new friends. Yeah. It's a new family to work with.
Well, it's interesting because the theater, people just think of acting, but really, there's set design and the construction, and then there's the directing, and there's selling tickets, promoting it. So
we have one wonderful lady says, I never want to be on the stage. I just want to
you want to be part of it, though. So we are out of time. So I really appreciate you being on the show, Anita, and we will talk to you again soon.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for watching Community Hotline tonight. Enjoyed those last two little quickie interviews, and we'll have them on again. I'm Monica Weitzel. We'll see you here next week on Community Hotline.
Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by Gresham Ford, the dealer with a heart. The Contribute to the Community program provides the opportunity for the Gresham Ford team to make a positive impact, serving their customers and helping people across the community. The Outlook, serving the residents of East Multnomah County for more than 100 years. The region's #1 source for information, The Outlook provides readers with intensely local coverage of the issues and people that impact our lives and community. The Mountain Hood Cable Regulatory Commission, advocating on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels. A very special thanks to all our sponsors who help make our programming possible.